Good morning, Twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well. And, of course, good morning, Mini Motorways. Let's go to Zurich for today's daily challenge. We will begin with 2 bridges and 3 motorways. And, well, we might get more motorways. Not so much on the bridges, though. Hi, Nora. She's meowy this morning. I don't know why. She has food and water and a clean place to poo. And yet, she insists on going meow, which is, fine. She is indeed very meowative. Samurai Sam was here first. Good morning, Sam. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everyone. Those who are enjoying a holiday, and those like me who aren't but are sort of, because my work is basically entirely dependent on the availability and desire for services of lawyers. And, well, not to put too fine a point on it, but I don't have an assignment today. I imagine a great many other people in my department do not have an assignment today. Lawyers will take any opportunity they can to have a holiday because their job is very hard and they deserve holidays. Listen. There are an awful lot of silly, frivolous lawsuits in this country, but there are also an awful lot of lawsuits that are not that. So, we shan't be denigrating lawyers as a profession here on the channel. They are, after all, the reason my company is able to exist, and there are people from my work who follow me here. So, and also, we're not doing that. Anyway, we got some reds, we got some yellows, we got some blues. It's proper component video going on here, I guess. I'm gonna be real and level with you, Sam. There are 2 reasons I'm streaming today. One, I forgot it was a holiday. I mentally set up the stream schedule in my head last week, forgetting that today was Martin Luther King Day. I thought it was next week. And secondly, this is the final time that we will be able to show off. This is the final time that we will be able to show off the 11 video YouTube schedule. Look at that beautiful monstrosity. It's so big and long. Wait, hold. Anyway, my point is, for the folks watching on YouTube, we have 11 videos coming out this week. Oh, gaze upon its majesty. And away it goes. Let's take another tunnel. There is indeed beauty in a full, not just a stream schedule, a full YouTube upload schedule, the full 11 videos for maybe the only time, maybe the last time for a while. And the reason I say that is that this week is the final week where we will be airing Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Good_morning.
Good_morning to you, Clancy the Crow, resubscribing for 11 months, 10 of which have come in a row. Thank you, Clancy, for resubscribing. Everybody go follow Clancy the Crow. If you are not, we will drop a / shout out to Clancy the Crow. Drop your tallies and what have yous in the chat, your gloriousies, and so forth. Thank you again, Clancy the Crow. 11 months in the Goog troop. As I was saying before I was so generously interrupted, let's hold on. Let's hold on. We have a problem. Nah, it's not really a problem. It's a mild annoyance. You know what? Rather than burn my last bridge here, I am just gonna motorway. I think I am just gonna motorway these beiges over to here. Because in addition to the bridge, I'd also have to burn a tunnel to get them going off that away. And that is nonsense. Truly. Truly ridiculous nonsense. I don't love having used a bridge for one blue house over here either. It does kind of stink. But anyway. Alright. So this week is the final week that we will be airing Dragon Age: The Veilguard. And for those of you paying very close attention, that does mean that the finale of Dragon Age: The Veilguard will be episode 69. I promise I didn't plan that. That's just the way the editing came out. It's nice. It's funny. The final episode of Dragon Age: The Veilguard will air this week on the YouTube channel. And then I had a very brief thought that maybe I'll expand to three episodes a week for Hades 2 and Cyberpunk 2077. And then I realized I don't hate myself that much. So we're just going to go back to 2 episodes each of the 2 series, those being, again, Hades and Cyberpunk. And we'll continue that way until the next game. Listen, we're at least rounding the final corner with Cyberpunk 2077, I think. Like, Cyberpunk is one of those games that has enough, missions and doodads and whatnot that you could theoretically just play it forever. And I don't think I'm going to be doing that. I think at some point we're going to say, hey, listen, what do we actually care about regarding these Cyberpunk characters? And we'll probably just focus on them for a little while. And then we'll wrap up the series, and it has been a good, fun time. Okay, now, hello. Yes, you're very meowy. You're very cute. Okay. Now, what are we going to do about this red business and all this other nonsense? We do have all this other nonsense. There's an awful lot of the nonsense. So, first thing, I think, is maybe these reds here are going to go up and over and down and in like so. They go off that away. That then frees up these 3. And I don't presently have a bridge, and I won't be accruing another bridge. So we're just going to have these 3 reds hop motorway number 2 and come down here, serve this business. That's probably going to have to be fine. Yeah, let's do that, actually. And we'll do this red going up here to get a second house of support for this red business. Yeah, there are probably worse ideas than that. I've certainly had worse ideas than that. Can't really cut this corner. That would burn a bridge, so. Okay, hi there, Dark Blue Business. You will be served by this dark blue house, which does mean that we sort of free up one of my bridges, which is nice. Not going to actively immediately deploy that or nothing, but it is good to know that it exists. We're very strapped, just in general, on dark blue houses. It is not a great... Oh, well, okay. I suppose if you want to do that, you can do that. I don't love that you did or nothing, but yeah, we can get a 4th and 5th dark blue going off the... Okay, hold on. You, and you, all of y'all. We're gonna chop and murder this bridge again. You go off that way, like so. Yeah! So now the 6 of these go off into that direction. That should generally be fine. These beiges here are annoying. And of course... Oh, hi. You're actually one of my favorite beiges. Yay. Okay. This comes down here. We'll readjust motorway number 1 to be more central on the 3 of you. That should all be fine. Sam sees something and is biting his tongue because, after all, we are bitter road-making rivals. This is true. This is true. It should be noted, very importantly, it is not a heated rivalry. We can no longer jokingly use that term, but we could go with bitter. It is a bitter rivalry. Yes. Hello, Nora. Meow. Meow, says the Nora. All right, we'll take a 3rd motorway. That'll be useful for future motorwising. I don't know. There's all sorts of reasons that a person would want to... Ah, ha, ha, ha. Ah. I suppose there are reasons that a person would want to ma ha ha ha, and they have to do with evil laughing cackles. Okay. Well, here. Let's just take these 2 dark blues. I'm going to peel them away from Mr. Circlehead over here. and it's going to have to be fine. Next, I'm going to connect this dark blue house here to the road going to this business. That'll be fine. Samurai Sam has redeemed Let's Remember a Guy and would like for me, the _Goog, to remember Billy Kidman. Billy Kidman was, on one hand, Billy Kidman was a fairly generic WCW cruiserweight. On the other hand, he had like 6 different roles in WCW over the years. So, hi, what do you want? Why are you meowing? Is there a tiny floofy ball that I don't see? No! I know you have food because I put food in your bowl today. I know you have water because I filled your bowl with water last night. Why are you meowing at me? Was she... She's a good cat. She's a good cat. Why are there lyrics in this song? Removed from playlist. Skip song. Next. All right, let's take another tunnel. Have this. This dark blue will go down that way. 2 here, 2 there. That's fa ha ha ha. You went circular. Why would you do such a thing? Who inspired you? Who told you that was a good idea? You roundy McFuck. Alright. Let's see. What are we going to do about this? Are we going to do anything about this right now? I think I kind of can't. Like, okay, I've got an additional blue house here. I could maybe pop this up here, steal this one. But, And again, I'll say, Not loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba, nah. Not loving it. Alright, these greens come down here. We'll burn our final bridge for the moment. Billy Kidman was a cruiserweight wrestler in WCW, which basically meant he was a joke and a jobber and a goofus for an awful lot of the time. He was good. He was fun. Billy Kidman had several advantages working for him in WCW. Despite being a cruiserweight. I'm going to take a third tunnel, actually. I realize I don't have any traffic lights, and I've been offered traffic lights like a whole bunch of times, but, you know, they're traffic lights. Hello. All right. Well, fortunately, we do have this going on here with this beigeness, and I think if we run like that, what I can actually do, well, I did just mention that I don't have any traffic lights, so I think what we're going to have to do is just come to a roundabout right about here, and you take the southwestern spur, you take the northern spur, and then our southeastern spur goes out here. This will be awkward and fine, and eventually get a whole bunch of beige support going for this beigeness. There. Alright, you go off that away. We cut that corner properly. Okay. 6 beige houses come together into a roundabout. Off they go with that away. That should be fine. This dark blue house here. Oh, you recently spawned, didn't you? I like you. Why don't you and you come that way? I will, in fact, steal this house from this business. This business will be fine with that. This yellow down here will be serviced by some yellows going here. This yellow business over here, however, is kind of at least mildly fucked. Like, I don't see a ton of great ways to get anything going over here for you, Mr. Yellow Friend. We could draw motorway number 3. We obviously can't get it up and over the mountain, but I could do this. We can do this. Is everybody all loving and excited for doing this? I don't think we're really excited for the concept of doing this, but you know. All right. So you round about like that away. You go, yeah, okay. So these 2 yellows will ultimately serve this business. Hold on. Actually, yeah, I can't easily get these 2 yellows to come down here and serve this because they're kind of tucked right in on the coastline here. So, Yeah, that's going to have to be fine. Okay. Let's take another tunnel. And hey, you know what occurs to me? I can reclaim a tunnel. Not 2 tunnels. I thought for a moment I could reclaim 2 tunnels. But if I just do this, we run these 3 yellows right here like so. I'm then free and clear to take these 4 yellows down this way and have them serve this business, which may or may not be better, but it is definitely shorter. And shorter roads are better roads, right? That can be like a guiding principle and philosophy of the network of roads and such. Shorter roads are better? Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so Billy Kidman had a great many things working in his favor in WCW. The first of which was that he was white and WCW was run by Southern racists. And this is just a true and factual statement. It's not like the reason he got on television or anything. The reason he got on television was that he was a good, fine, perfectly cromulent professional wrestler. It's also true that WCW's cruiserweight division was dominated mostly, especially at the time when he was coming up, by Mexican luchadors and slightly undersized Japanese individuals, and Billy Kidman was a conventionally attractive white man, and he was in a company that was run by Southern racists. He would have had the same advantage in WWE because WWE was and remains run by Northern racists, but WCW was run by Southern racists and Billy Kidman was a conventionally attractive white man. So he had that going for him. He also, particularly at the time when he really started getting a push, was in a romantic relationship with Tori Wilson. And, well, you know how Billy Kidman is a conventionally attractive white man? Well, Tori Wilson was a conventionally attractive white lady, and yeah. So Billy Kidman, good professional wrestler, also reasonably attractive, conventionally so white man in a company run by Southern racists whose cruiserweight division is, in their eyes, overstocked with Mexican and Japanese individuals. Who also, oh, by the way, has a fucking smoking hot girlfriend. Yeah, that guy's going to get himself a push. Now, granted, it was WCW and it was the cruiserweight division, so he was the cruiserweight champion a few times, and he kind of got his ass kicked every time he faced upper card wrestlers, but he constantly was in the mix for like the cruiserweight title and getting new gimmicks and all of that. So that was good. The thing that you may remember about Kidman in ring as a wrestler is 2 things. One, he had the jankiest shooting star press. So a shooting star press is, if you're not familiar, a dude stands on the top rope. His opponent is lying flat on his back in the ring. A dude stands on the top rope. He leaps and flips backwards. He basically leaps, arches his neck back, and rotates his body such that he does a 270-degree rotation, going from like standing upright, looking down in the ring. He flips backwards and lands on his opponent on his stomach. When it is done properly, the shooting star press is a fucking gorgeous move. It is one of my favorite moves in professional wrestling. Billy Kidman did his shooting star press right generously 15% of the time. Like, he would complete the flip and he would land on his opponent. The thing is, you kind of can't see where you're going, so you have to have a really good body control to be able to jump, propel yourself forward, but flip backward such that you land right exactly perpendicular to your opponent, like your chest over their chest. Nice soft impact for the both of you. More often than not, Billy Kidman would under-rotate or under-travel or over-travel, and he would wind up kind of turning it into an elbow drop because his arm landed on the dude, or he'd kick his opponent in the head, or he'd damn near kill himself by flipping backwards and conking his own head on the ring rope, and it was a challenge. We'll say that. Why have I paused? I paused to explain the shooting star press and possibly also to examine the network of roads, and I don't see anything immediately fixable with the roads, so we're just going to go. So Billy Kidman had a janky shooting star press, and he also had this one spot. And if you watch like a lot of wrestling and you watch a wrestler a lot of times, you realize that wrestlers have like not just, signature moves, but just little spots that they like to do. And Billy Kidman had this one spot where his opponent would try to powerbomb him, and Kidman would reverse it into a Hurricane Rana. And that's fine. That's a good, it's a good simple spot. It's a nice little reversal. The thing is, Kidman only had so many spots, and he fucking loved the you try to powerbomb me, but I reverse into a Hurricane Rana spot. Like, he loved that spot like, I don't know, like Nora loves meowing at me, even though she has no justifiable cause to meow. He did that spot in every single match. And it's one thing if it's like a run off the ropes and clothesline the guy spot, or it's like you kick me in the head and I look a little dazed, but then I go, rah, and I punch you spot. That's fine. Those are the kind of things that you can integrate into damn near any professional wrestling match. Billy Kidman would have fuckers try to powerbomb him. What had never powerbombed a fucker in the history of their wrestling career. Billy Kidman would have Juventud Guerrera, who, God bless him, is a tiny little Mexican man. Billy Kidman would have Juventud Guerrera try to powerbomb him. Because after all, the spot is that you try a powerbomb and I reverse it into a Hurricane Rana. But, think about this for a second here. Juventud Guerrera, a dude who has never powerbombed anyone in the history of forever. Or Dean Malenko, who is, like Billy Kidman, a conventionally attractive white man, but also just the boringest motherfucker in the history of the world. Dean Malenko, tiny little guy. Not exactly a powerbombing folks kind of wrestler. And yet, for whatever reason, Dean Malenko would try to powerbomb Billy Kidman. And Billy Kidman would reverse it into a Hurricane Rana. If you think about it, it's like, are these wrestlers just stupid? They know that Billy Kidman is very good at reversing the powerbomb. They've never done a powerbomb in the history of their lives. And yet here they are, trying to powerbomb Billy Kidman. More often than not, it did not work when wrestlers tried to powerbomb Billy Kidman, to the point where I was reading a wrestling recapper who went by his initials CRZ on online, and for people who are in the know, I just name dropped a legend of Yore and Lore, actually. Yore and Lore is a title of the episode, in addition to what Sam noted. No justifiable cause to meow. That's probably good. No meowing for old cats. No, that's kind of sad, actually. And also, Nora is not an old cat. So, anyway. Let's see here. Ow, my nose. My point is, CRZ, when he would recap Nitro, would just call it the you can't powerbomb Kidman spot. Because after all, you can't powerbomb Kidman. I think in his career, at least in WCW, 200 dudes tried to powerbomb Billy Kidman, and would you believe it, that the only ones who ever succeeded were guys like Kevin Nash and Sid Vicious, who were big, strong, muscular, inflexible-ass wrestlers, which is to say, the kind of dudes who could give powerbombs and did on the regular, and also could not take a Hurricane Rana. If Billy Kidman tried to Hurricane Rana Kevin Nash, shit would go bad. It would end poorly for everyone. Let's take motorway number 5. We'll get over to here. You go in that away. Okay. God, yeah, Billy Kidman. So Billy Kidman just kind of hung around WCW for a very, very, very long time. He was in WCW in the mid-90s when it was hot, and round about the year 2000, Hulk Hogan got a hair across his ass. So there was a feud in WCW that pitted a group of young-ish wrestlers who felt that they had been underserved and underappreciated and frankly mistreated by the elite, politicking top of the card type wrestlers. I'm going to lay out the facts of this feud, and I think this was a true fact about WCW when I was doing true facts about WCW. I need you to understand that everything I'm about to say is true. There was a group of hungry, young, up-and-coming professional wrestlers who felt that it was their time to shine, and they were being unfairly held down by old, out-of-shape, former world champions who were using their political stroke and influence to win professional wrestling matches that they had no business winning. That's right. The storyline of professional wrestling was that professional wrestling is fake. You'd be surprised how many times that's the fundamental story of professional wrestling, but also, so these babyface, these tiny young-ish wrestlers formed an alliance, and they called themselves the New Blood, because after all, it's time we get some new blood in here. So it's the New Blood, and they're facing a ragtag assemblage of old established stars, including but not limited to Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Diamond Dallas Page, many of which are longtime well-appreciated stars in WCW, but it's fair to say older guys who maybe can't move as well, who can't do all the flashy, impressive things that the guys in the New Blood can do. So if you're going to make the old guys the baby faces, and spoiler, the old guys were the baby faces, if you're going to make the old guys the baby faces, their stable really needs to have like a very good name. Like, it's not the most important thing, but it would certainly help if the stable had a good name, something that reminded people of the history or the heroics of Hulk Hogan, what they've meant to the company, what they've meant to wrestling as an industry, something that, really established them as good, true, honest, loyal gentlemen who deserved the acclaim and the accolades that they had received over their many years on top and deserved to remain there for many years going forward. The alliance of Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash and Diamond Dallas Page and Sid Vicious and such was called the Millionaires Club. Yep. New Blood versus Millionaires Club. The Millionaires Club are the babyfaces. WCW. The stupidest bunch of fucks to ever be stupid, or whatever the exact wording of the quote is. Bang quote WCW. Okay. So we got a problem. And the problem here is this. We got multiple problems, actually, and they're basically the same problem, just with different colors. There you go. The stupidest group of idiots to ever be dumb anywhere, ever. As a true thing that I said 4 years and a day ago. It remains true. It remains true. All right, so we got this beigeness here. This beigeness is dying on account of only having 2 houses going to it, and a problem we have is that there isn't a really great way to get more houses to it. So if I do this, I do get 1 more beige house going up that way, and maybe that'll just be enough. Who knows? Next, we've got this green shit down here, and this green shit down here is kind of death-borked on account of only having 2 houses going to it. It's got these 2 right here. And unfortunately, if I do this, that's a terrible intersection, but I can't get it up here to the origin point of this road. This is kind of cul-de-sac-y. So, and I can't get around it. Oh. Well, I could just get a roundabout in there. If I just get a roundabout in there, then I can do that. I didn't realize I could just get a roundabout in there. So that's nice. I am also not gonna... Well, actually. Because I can also get a couple more greens involved. Yeah. What we'll do is come here, and then you go out that way. So now we're going to serve 3 businesses via roundabout, which is probably, bad. But maybe it'll be fine. Who knows? You can't say for certain that it won't be fine, aside from the long and storied history that we and others have of shit like this just not being fine. So it's the New Blood versus the Millionaires Club, and of course the Millionaires Club are the baby faces. But part of the reason fans are starting to get behind the New Blood a little bit is that it is a very true and pretty much established fact that Hulk Hogan uses his clout and influence to hold younger, better wrestlers down and never lets them beat him, and he is basically always the star. Well, Hulk Hogan decides, you know something, brother? We're not justifying Hulk Hogan with a Hulk Hogan impression. Hulk Hogan decides, you know something, brother? I'm going to prove these idiots wrong. I'm going to make this Billy Kidman a star. And how does Hulk Hogan decide that he's going to make Billy Kidman a star? Why? By letting Billy Kidman score a victory over him in a professional wrestling match. That's right, Hulk Hogan versus Billy Kidman happened on Nitro, and Billy Kidman won. Now, it's true that the match consisted of Hulk Hogan beating Billy Kidman and Billy Kidman's various cronies from pillar to post with no mercy or end in sight, and Billy Kidman was hopelessly ineffectual and couldn't possibly withstand the awesome might of Hulkamania. That is true. It is also true that during the match, Hulk Hogan had multiple instances where he very clearly had Billy Kidman beat, but did not win the match in that moment due to chicanery and fuckery and nonsense. That is true. And it is true that Hulk Hogan only lost because of yet further chicanery, fuckery, and nonsense. That is true. And it is true that after the match, which Billy Kidman won, Billy Kidman and Hulk Hogan had a match and Billy Kidman won. It is true that after the match, Hulk Hogan continued being a tippity top of the card megastar who was pushed to the moon and always looked great and beat everybody all the time forever, and Billy Kidman remained just kind of a guy who had cheated to beat Hulk Hogan, and isn't that horrible? Those are all true, but it is also true, and God bless people, there are people who defended Hulk Hogan who legitimately cited this as fact. Hulk Hogan and Billy Kidman had a wrestling match and Billy Kidman won. That is technically true. It is also technically true that we got 3,183 commuters, which feels like a score. It's top 10% in the world. It is not quite as good as Samurai Sam. Drop those Samurai Slams in the chat. So Billy Kidman, eventually, would you believe it, WCW folded? I know, this is shocking. WCW folded. Billy Kidman's contract was reasonably cheap, so WWE picked it up when they bought WCW. Kidman came in as basically a jobber in the WCW-ECW Invasion Alliance angle. There was a guy in WWE who did a shooting star press. He did it much better. Oh, yes, AJ Styles. How could I forget who this guy was? AJ Styles. AJ Styles, here in 2026, is regarded as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of the modern era. He's tremendous. He's also old and has been in WWE for more than a decade, so he, at least at his peak, was tremendous. He's very well respected, and when he was young, he was one of the most incredible high-flying wrestlers the world had ever seen, right? Let's bring in our friend, the Wordle. Where did I put that Wordle? There did I put that Wordle. Hi there, the Wordle. The Wordle today is quick. It's a terrible first guess, but would you believe it? It's not quick. But AJ Styles, especially in his youth, was quick. So, the year is like 2000, right? WCW is circling the drain. AJ Styles is a young up-and-coming talent who has just been signed to a contract with WCW, which, as you may recall, is circling the drain. But, you know, details. AJ Styles and a young Christopher Daniels are having incredible matches on WCW's undercard because they are actually the youth movement of professional wrestling. There's an alternate history, by the way, where WCW just gets another year before Nitro gets canceled, and they actually do strap rockets to the great young wrestlers they had under contract, because they had Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles in 2000. It's wild to think about, but it's true. So AJ Styles comes into WCW and he's kicking ass and he's taking names and he's winning meaningless matches that they're not pushing as important or anything. Listen, it's not like they were pushing these guys. It's not like they were smart about anything. They were being dumb. But AJ Styles was in the company being awesome, and he did an excellent shooting star press. And I want you to note, Billy Kidman did not invent the shooting star press. Billy Kidman did not pioneer the shooting star press. Billy Kidman saw a guy do a shooting star press, said, hey, I could probably do that, proceeded to mostly do that, and won a great many matches over his career with his jank-ass shooting star press. AJ Styles did a fucking amazing shooting star press. AJ Styles did a shooting star press the way you're supposed to do a shooting star press, which is the reason the shooting star press is like my favorite move in the history of professional wrestling. Maybe, probably not, but it's one of them. Billy Kidman got mad. He was upset that there was a dude doing his move. His move, which wasn't his in any way other than that up until this point, he was the guy in WCW who did the shooting star press, and his was ugly and bad, and AJ's was pretty and good. So, yeah, Billy Kidman got mad over some petty bullshit one time. We just know lots of random facts about Billy Kidman. He's not like an important wrestler, but he's an interesting wrestler. He was there for a lot of stuff, basically. The wordle today is not grave. The wordle today could be plead. Could be plead. It's not, but it could have been. We've learned basically nothing from that, actually. The wordle today could be facet? No, there's no C. The wordle today could be, it's not earth. There's no R. It's not easel. There's no L. It's not. Well, here's something the wordle today is not. The wordle today is not eaves. Hey, I finally found where the A and the E go. That's nice. Oh, man. The wordle today is maven. No, there's no V. We just proved that. The wordle today is waxen. I don't think that's a word. That's a word. The wordle... What? What? No! No! No, I'm sorry. I was kidding. You're fucking kidding. The wordle today is not waxen. How in the ever-loving fuck? Okay, all right. Let's play Time Guesser. Hi there, the Prog. So this is Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, and we got to figure out exactly when this might be. So our national anthem is being performed by Narelle Simpson. Good for her. Let's see here. I don't suppose you have like a lineup or anything, do you? No? No, you're too busy showing advertisements and flags. God damn it. Okay, well, hold on. If we look at the pennant tree here, we can see the absolute earliest this could be is 2019, because we do have a banner here from 2018. Now, I think these are divisional championship banners. So I can think, when did the Guardians last win the AL Central? I think they've won it since. Oh, by the way, I should get rid of the "Don't Tell Me the Answer" text. Thank you, Sam. I think the Guardians would have won the AL Central since 2018. Because the AL Central for a great many years was a fucking dumpster fire. And the only team that seemed like they gave a crap was the Guardians. And listen, the Guardians only give a crap in the sense that they're very smart. They're not spendy. The Guardians are one of the cheaper teams in baseball. For no good reason. The Guardians make a fuck ton of money because every team makes a fuck ton of money. But the Guardians do not spend much of their money. That having been said, they are very smart. And it's not like any other team in the AL Central is very much less cheap. The Tigers have gotten a little bit spendy, but the Tigers also have the best pitcher in baseball and have made no indication that they wish to extend his contract. So part of that is that Mr. Scooble insists on becoming a free agent and the Tigers are just not going to sign him. So, you know. Anyway, my point is, I think the Guardians probably won the AL Central in 2019. Like, who else would have been good in the AL Central in 2019? Maybe the Twins. I mean, the Twins were legitimately good for a few years there. But okay. So this is sometime between 2019 and 2025 at the very least. I know the Guards didn't win it in 25. The Tigers have finally gotten good again, but you know, late 20-teens, early 2020s, the Guardians were the Tigers were not good. All right, let's zoom out here. This gentleman is celebrating that the Guardians won the American League pennant in 1995, so good for them. I do just want to say 2019. Can't really tell. Oh, I found it. 2023. Apparently the Twins won the division a whole bunch of times in there. But yeah, if you just look at more things than just the pennant, you see, oh look, this is opening day 2023. So, let's go to Cleveland, which is in Ohio, which is right about here. They were going by their old name in 2019. You know, that's true. That's true. That didn't even occur to me, Sam. You're right. Anyway, hold on. I lost Cleveland. There it is. So let's go to Cleveland, which is right up here. God, no wonder it's so fucking cold there all the time. It's on the water. All right. Let's find us a progressive field. Well, you know, it's professional baseball. You're only going to get so progressive about things. But let's find a progressive field. Where'd you go, the Prague? Aren't you like downtown? You're like downtown Cleveland, aren't you? Son of a bitch. Where in the fuck is progressive field? There's the Lakefront Airport. There's a Home Depot. Oh, I found Cam's Corners. And a shopping center and an AMC and a country club. And now we're in Westlake, which feels all very suburban-y about shit. Oh, there's your airport. Okay. Let's see here. There's Cuyahoga Heights and the playground and Garfield Heights and where in the fuck? My bestest friend in the entire world lives in Cleveland and may or may not be. Probably not because this is no, they won the Central in 2022. So, what? This is opening day 2023, Sam. They were probably gonna have a ceremony for it at some point. You don't just kind of stick that thing up there and do nothing with it. You hold a thing and you do like T-shirt day or something, and it's like, hey, remember last year when we won the division and then didn't win anything other than that? So, yeah. Anyway, this is Painesville. I feel as though I've lost the plot again. The fuck is Progressive Field, Cleveland? God. Okay. Let's see here. It's not in Parma, but it's definitely north of Parma. So as long as we stay north of Parma. Son of a fucking... Where in the... Okay, so Rocket Arena is where the Cavaliers play. Cleveland is not that big. I've been to Progressive Field. It is not like way off in the suburbs or nothing. It's in Cleveland. It's like I'm not zoomed in enough. Okay, so it's got to be... It's right fucking next fucking door. It turns out that it's right fucking next fucking door to Rocket Arena. And it wasn't showing up because the... Okay. All right, fine. So the photo is taken from, like, way in the back, directly behind home plate. We are, like, there in 2023. God. Spent 15 minutes to get 10,000 points. We did get 10,000 points. So that's nice. Let us move with the swiftness now. All right. So this is the Berglund Jensen Rathausplatz. Sorry. It's the Berglund Jensen Rathausplatz. Everyone loves the Berglund Jensen Rathausplatz. All right. And you could also get your margarine. Man, these people really like margarine. That's impressive. This looks like a Russian building. Like, the building looks Russian. The signage does not. So, We've got our Berglund Jensen Rathausplatz, and we've got some folk who look folkish. Huh. All right. We are in Stockholm, Sweden in 19-4. Kind of feel decent about 19-4. I don't feel good about... Okay, now hold on. I'm not a person who recognizes flags. I am occasionally a person who recognizes the shape of flags. And this flag, this looks like it's got a dark stripe, and then a white stripe, and then a dark stripe, right? And by dark, I just mean not white, which, again, northern racists. So because you got a dark stripe and a white stripe and a dark stripe, that's the Russian flag. Like, the Russian flag is blue, white, and red. So, and the Swedish flag is like, it's got crosses and T's and whatnot. So this, I think the Berglund Jensen Rathausplatz is a fucking red herring. I'm gonna go with gut and also building and flag. We're in Russia. Specifically, you know what? If we're in St. Petersburg because it's closer to something that could call itself the Berglund Jensen Rathausplatz. We're in St. Petersburg, Russia in 19-4. Oh. No. No, it turns out that the Berglund Jensen Rathausplatz was actually... the flag obscured the cross pattern, and we were in Denmark, and we were actually in 19-19. Fuck. Next. We've got the place where you fix your sheep. The Stalinmasten. The Ladbombin. Okay, so this building here, this building does 4 things, right? It'll fix your sheep. It'll wash It'll worship your communist dictator. It will explode children. And it will install a walrus. This is the sheep's repartee Stalin Mastin Land Bombin Volhus Installatis. Hi there. Are you the lads who do the bombing? These might be the lads who do the bombing. Oh, God. The lads who do the bombing. It's titles of the episode. Okay. So these are the lads. They do the bombing. And these lads are... I don't know what fucking language this is. It's gotta be German. I don't know. Is that German? It could be. I don't. This double A is not French. I was maybe gonna say it could be French. Like this could be French. Like sheep's repartee. That's basically is French. That's so French. We might actually be in Switzerland. Hold on. Actually, yeah. Fuck it. Why not? We're in Switzerland. We're in Zurich, Switzerland in 19. Oh God, it also looks like it could be 1916. Sure. We're just gonna keep guessing 1916 until it comes close to being 1916. We are in Zurich, Switzerland in 1916. Obviously. Why wouldn't it be? It's 1955! Oh God. I'm so bad at time. Okay, so I believe that's the Ayatollah Khomeini, isn't it? You're definitely like an Ayatollah or a Shah or a like big important Iranian dude that I've seen before, right? This is the lads that do the bombing. Okay. So yeah, I think I actually just recognized this fella and I recognize this text here. So we are in Tehran, Iran in... Listen, I know we had a running joke going. I do care about my score just enough to not say that this is 1916. This is probably like 1978. It's not actually 1916. It's Tehran 1979. See, if you can get 9,800 points, you leave the joke beside. Okay. Hi there. You are car and drivers celebrating winning the... Oh, well, I have an idea. Friends, I have an idea. I might have a thought as to where we could be. Ow! Headphone cable donked my skull. It's fine. All right. So now, the real question becomes, where the fuck is Dakar? Well, I mean, it's right there, actually. But also, the question of where the fuck is Dakar is where the fuck is the city? Because like this is the finish line of a race from Paris to Dakar that happened in 2001. These guys here won, right? Congratulations to them on their victory. But also, where the fuck is Dakar? I will now draw a circle which I'm reasonably sure encompasses Dakar. Eh? Yeah, it is. It's right there. There are many of them. There's multiple. Okay, so it's French, right? And because it's French, there's probably some French imperialism going on. And if you look at where the French were all imperial about shit, yeah, they were imperial over here, but they were also imperial up here. They weren't so much imperial in this part of the world. This part of the world had its own imperialism going on. It had some Italian imperialism. It didn't have as much in the way of French imperialism. The French imperialism was like coastal African imperialism, right? You got your Moroccos up here. You got your Côte d'Ivoire down here. So, and also, you got to drive a fucking car from fucking Paris to wherever the fuck the car is, right? So, given those, I'm kind of thinking that there's probably, like, you start in Paris and you go through Spain and then you cross whatever this nonsense is, and you wind up in Morocco. Is that reasonable and feasible and such? Yeah. There's, like, maybe... Okay, this is actually a fair ways for a bridge or a tunnel or nothing, but, you know, you got your Tanger Barcelona and your Algeciras Tanger Med, and I don't know, man. You got your Punta de Tarifa. How hard can it be to Punta de Tarifa into... Maybe Dakar's just in Spain, actually. Dakar's not in France, is it? That would be embarrassing. No, come on. Look at the beautiful. It's actually quite gray, and mostly gray, but also sand. It could be sand. Man, okay. We are in fucking, I don't know. We are in Fez, Morocco, actually. Turns out that Dakar is not actually a place that exists. It's just a cute little local colloquialism for Fez, Morocco. I don't think that's actually true. We are in Tunis. No, we're in Tripoli. We could be in Tripoli. Usually you start from the hills of Montezuma if you're going to Tripoli, but... All right. God damn it. We are in... Fuck It, Fez, Morocco in 2001. Fuck It, Fez, incidentally, is what Hyde and Kelso said about just any girl. Any girl. Turns out that Dakar's it's down there. See? Coastal African imperialism. Stupid French imperialists. 33,347 is a score. I don't think it's a particularly good one. I think we dropped more Samurai Slams in the... Yeah, we dropped more Samurai Slams in the chat. Okay. For today's Immaculate Grid, we need Giants, Athletics, Astros, Orioles, Dudes What's in the Halls of Fame, and Dudes What Were Born Outside the 50 U.S. states and D.C. Baltimore Oriole, who was born outside the 50 U.S. states and D.C. is... Why do I have it in my head that Mark Hendrickson's Canadian? That would be a weird pull, particularly if it's wrong. Let's not do that. Koji Uehara. Koji Uehara is a Baltimore Oriole who was born outside the 50 U.S. states and D.C. That's a true fact. San Francisco Giant, who is in the Hall of Fame, is one of our favorite pulls. The fact that Randy Johnson was a San Francisco Giant. Carlos Beltran will eventually be eligible for this square, perhaps as soon as this coming July. A dude who played for the Baltimore Athletics and Oakland A, who is Mark Hendrickson, played for the Blue Jays and Raptors, but is not Canadian. I didn't know that Mark Hendrickson was a Blue Jay. Mark Hendrickson played for 3 teams in the AL East. Good for him. Let's see here. An A who is in the Hall of Fame is Frank Thomas. Everyone remembers Oakland Athletics legend Frank Thomas. A dude who is in the Hall of Fame and was born outside the 50 U.S. states and D.C. is Roberto Clemente. Let's see here. Dude who played for the O's and the A's is probably... Oh, Miguel Tejada. That's a layup. I could find a deeper cut if I wanted to, but we'll take Miguel Tejada. Dude who played for the O's and the Giants is... Was Jeff Kent an Oriole? No, I don't think he was. Was Billy Ripken a Giant? No, unlikely. We'll think of something. Let's name some Houston Astros. A Houston Astro who was born outside the 50 U.S. states and D.C. is Yordan Alvarez. I saw a rumor yesterday that the New York Mets have asked the Houston Astros, say, what would it take to trade for Yordan Alvarez? And listen, I'd be in favor of the Mets trading for Yordan Alvarez. Yordan Alvarez is generally considered to be quite good at hitting baseballs. And despite recently signing Bo Bichette, which, hey, by the way, the Mets signed Bo Bichette. That's cool. Yordan Alvarez is at least pretty damn good at hitting baseballs. It's unlikely, I think, that the Mets will acquire Yordan Alvarez. But hey, you can always ask. Oh, let's see here. Lance Berkman was an Astro, but not an A or a Giant. Zach Greinke was an Astro, but not an A or a Giant. Mark Mulder was an A, but not an Astro. Barry Zito was an A and a Giant, but not an Astro or an Oriole. Alyssa Milano was Barry Zito's girlfriend and gets the Law and Order drop, but was not an A, an Astro, or for that matter, a Giant. Oh, let's see here. Cal Ripken's kid was an Oriole, but not a Giant. Cal Ripken was, I think, just an Oriole for this grid. I don't think he was a Giant, actually. Willie Mays was a Giant, but not an Astro or an Oriole. Randy Johnson was an Astro and Giant. That's true. Hey, speaking of dudes we've talked about earlier today, Carlos Beltran was an Astro and a Giant. Carlos Beltran very famously did some things on the Astros that kind of, sort of got him fired as manager of the Mets. You remember when Carlos Beltran was going to be the manager of the Mets? And then it turned out that he and several other dudes had fucking cheated, but many of the other fucking dudes who had fucking cheated were granted immunity to rat on the other dudes who fucking cheated, and then the other dudes who fucking cheated got run out of the industry for all of a month and a half, and yeah, okay. Top left thinks Sox. Was Jed Lowry an Astro? Because I was thinking Jed Lowry might have been an Astro at some point. I know Jed Lowry was an A. I can envision Jed Lowry in an Astros jersey. It's probably a dumb poll, but hey, deepish. Jed Lowry, he was a well-traveled middle infield type. Jed Lowry was an Astro and an Athletic. Yay. Oh, let's see here. An O and a Giant. An O and a Giant. Beth. Also Josh Reddick. Oh, yeah. Oh, Josh Reddick. Can think of an asshole who fits the square. Roberto Alomar was an... Oh, was he also a Giant? I thought he was a Padre. Omar Vizquel was a Giant. Was he an Oriole? He's an asshole. Albert Bell was an Oriole and an asshole, but not a Giant. James Howard Thom was an Oriole, not a known asshole, and I also think not a Giant. Not one of the assholes I usually... Are we doing phrasing? I feel as though we're... Anyway. Brady Anderson was an Oriole. Rafael Palmeiro was an Oriole. Was he a Giant? I don't think so. Sammy Sosa was an Oriole, but not a Giant. See, here's the problem. Javi Lopez, the catcher, was an Oriole. Javi Lopez, the left-handed relief pitcher, was a Giant. I don't believe either of them crosses. So, let's see here. Hunter Pence was a Giant. I don't think he was an Oriole. JJ Hardy was an Oriole, not a Giant. Marco Scutaro? Marco Scutaro was a Giant. Maybe he was an Oriole? I don't think Marco Scutaro was an Oriole. He played for the A's, he played for the Red Sox, played for the Giants. I think he played for the Padres, but I don't think he was an Oriole. It's a really good Giants player who fits. Not normally thought of as an Oriole. Rob Nen? Was Rob Nen an Oriole? I know he was a Marlin. I don't think Rob Nen was an Oriole. Billy Koch was an Oriole, but not a giant. Billy Wagner, I think, was an Oriole, but not a giant. Rich Aurelio was a giant. Was he an Oriole? No. I don't think so, at least. Buster Posey was a career giant. Madison Bumgarner was a giant and a diamondback, but not an Oriole. Matt Cain was a giant, but not an Oriole. Tim Lincecum was a giant, but not an Oriole. BJ Surhoff was an Oriole, but not a giant. Kelly Johnson might have been an Oriole, but I don't think he was a giant. Son of a bitch. Brian Wilson was a giant, but not an Oriole. Roberto Hernandez? Roberto Hernandez? Was Roberto Hernandez? I think of Roberto Hernandez as having played for the White Sox. But that's just because he was the White Sox closer in like 1994, 1995. And I had World Series Baseball 95 for the Sega Genesis. And I played the White Sox because my dad always played the Red Sox. So... now I'm back to Omar Vizquel. Actually, yeah, I think Omar Vizquel was an Oriole. Fuck it. We'll just name an asshole. We name some assholes here every now and then. Omar Vizquel was not an Oriole. Motherfucker. Will Clark. Yep. Will Clark was a giant and an Oriole. Who else did I miss? Rogers Hornsby, apparently. Oh, Jesse Burke. Miguel Tejada would have fit the square. Yeah, okay. Let's sort this by war for the Giants. Aubrey Huff. Aubrey Huff, an asshole who played for the Giants and Orioles. That's a true fact. Oh, Russ Ortiz. Did I see Russell Branyan? Russell Branyan might have fit the square. Oh, well. Yeah, no player who did this aside from, a handful of Hall of Famers on the... Never mind. Folks, that is going to do it for us here today on Good Morning Mini Motorways. Thank you so very much for being here. Let me find the various schedule graphics. Once again, for the folks on YouTube, we have 11 videos coming out this week. We've already had Cyberpunk and, of course, today's Gimmimimim. We are currently scheduled to have a Gimmimimim every weekday this week. Dragon Age: The Veilguard Monday and its finale on Thursday, and Cyberpunk and Hades as well. For the folks watching on Twitch or who just want to join us on Twitch, you see the times on the screen right there. The plan is Gimmimimim every weekday morning, Cyberpunk Tuesday evening, Hades 2 on Thursday. Folks, have a wonderful day, and this is the end screen. Bye!